In 1960, a new dawn broke over Nigeria. After decades under British rule, independence was finally won. The air was thick with optimism. Our nation, blessed with abundant resources and vibrant people, was filled with boundless hope. A new generation of leaders stepped onto the stage, their hearts burning with a vision for a new Nigeria. They dreamed of building a country where every child could receive an education, where every village would be illuminated by the glow of electric light, and where a network of roads would connect communities, fostering unity and trade. Among them was a visionary leader, fearless and full of ambition, who began to sketch out a grand future for his people. He pored over maps and blueprints, charting a course for prosperity. But beyond our borders, in the halls of power in America, in Europe, a different narrative was being written. They didn't see the immense potential of a self-sufficient, powerful African nation. Instead, their eyes were fixed on the vast wealth beneath our soil. They saw Nigeria as a prize to be won: the black gold, our oil, our precious minerals, and our strategic position on the continent. These were the assets they craved. They didn't want a partner, they wanted control. And so, they devised a plan, a subtle, insidious strategy to ensure our wealth would serve their interests, not our own. The stage was set for a battle not of armies, but of influence and economics. As the saying goes, money has a way of speaking louder than principle, and it can silence even the bravest of voices. It wasn't long before foreign corporations and government officials began to make their move. They approached our leaders, not with threats of war, but with smiles, handshakes, and enticing offers. They promised vast sums of money, shiny development projects, and the backing of the international community. The offers came wrapped in the language of partnership and progress, but there was always a catch, a condition whispered in closed-door meetings. Keep the oil flowing smoothly, they'd say. Don't disrupt the established order. Above all, don't build any real power that could challenge our dominance. Suddenly, Nigeria's future, our very destiny, was hanging in the balance. It was a perilous crossroads. One path was to stand firm, to reject their offers and defy their agenda. But that path was fraught with danger. It meant facing the threat of sabotage, economic isolation, and perhaps even overt intervention. The other path was to accept the aid, to take the money and play the game. It was the easier path, the one that promised short-term stability. But it meant allowing foreign powers to pull the strings from the shadows, to control our nation's trajectory. The choice was made. The allure of immediate funding and the hollow promises of progress became the chains that would bind our nation for generations to come. What followed was the slow, methodical strangling of a nation's dream. With international loans and aid now tightly controlled by outside forces, Nigeria's own development projects began to falter. The ambitious plans for infrastructure stalled. Roads that were meant to connect our people started to crumble. Power plants that were supposed to light up our cities remained unfinished, skeletal reminders of a broken promise. Schools were built, but they lacked qualified teachers and essential resources. Hospitals stood ready, but they lacked the medicine to heal the sick. It was a cruel, repeating cycle. Every time our government tried to assert its independence and build something for its people, a new loan with crippling interest rates, a new debt obligation, or a new aid condition would be imposed, pushing us right back into a state of dependence. While our nation struggled, foreign corporations reaped enormous profits. They extracted our crude oil at rock-bottom prices, shipped it overseas, and sold it for billions of dollars on the global market. Meanwhile, the money that was supposed to flow back into our economy, the money that was meant to build a strong and self-reliant Nigeria, seemed to vanish into a complex web of offshore accounts and dubious deals. The system was designed for this outcome. Our leader, once hailed as a beacon of hope and a symbol of African liberation, was gradually diminished. He became a shadow of his former self, trapped and compromised by the very money that was supposed to empower his nation. He was a king in his own land, but a pawn on a global chessboard. Decades have passed, but the pattern remains eerily familiar. Today, we still hear the same promises of progress from foreign investors and international bodies. They come with grand announcements and photo opportunities, but their investments often come with strings attached, conditions that benefit their interests more than ours. They speak of development and partnership, yet our roads continue to collapse, and reliable electricity remains a distant dream for millions. The world looks at Nigeria and sees a story of corruption, political instability, and mismanagement. They point fingers at our leaders and our institutions, judging from afar, but they miss the root of the problem. The truth is much clearer when you look closer. Nigeria's immense potential was deliberately stifled, smothered with money, and manipulated by global powers who were determined to profit from our resources, not to empower our people. But this story is far from over. This is not an ending. It is a chapter. The chains that have held our nation back are now visible for all to see. A new generation is waking up. Awareness is growing across the country and in the diaspora. We are beginning to understand the complex history that has shaped our present reality. With this knowledge comes power. With unity, we can find strength. And with courage, we can begin the difficult but necessary work of reclaiming our future. The very money that was once used to silence our ambitions can now become the force that awakens our nation. The story of Nigeria is still being written, and we, its people, hold the pen. The price of silence was devastatingly high, but the cost of courage, the price of standing up for our sovereignty, is truly priceless. And make no mistake, Nigeria will rise. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the forces that shape our world. Together, we can change the narrative.